had Brent Leary talk to us about how to use a customer relationship management tool, a CRM, with video. And we ended up talking about all things video. In fact, we kind of veered off a little bit and talked about geeking out with different gear and stuff like that because, well, we love stuff like that, right? But again, it's bittersweet today because it's day 5 of the Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success series. And it's the end of it. But however, we have an amazing guest in on cue who we're about to bring on here. So today's a special day because not only are we ending, but we have 2 amazing guests. So as I talked about earlier, if you were with us earlier, we have an amazing guest who, to me, in my strongest opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, Facebook group facilitators, builders, and drivers. In fact, I had the opportunity, shout out to Donticia Seymour, who's a mutual friend of ours and actually is the guest, like BFF. I was able to meet Katrina at a in-person mastermind, and the way that Katrina was talking about at the time, I think units were just released in Facebook groups. It wasn't really a feature that people were too familiar with. In fact, not too many people are utilizing that. Guys, that's a big secret. Like, if you really want to organize your Facebook group, use the units. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. But I just remember hearing Katrina, how her whole philosophy of her particular Facebook group and how she went about doing it. And of course, naturally, I was intrigued and I made sure to join it. And I've been a member of her group for since then. Maybe that was like, what, a year or so, maybe 2 years ago. I mean, time is just so not relevant right now based on what's going on in the world. But, Katrina, she's done a lot of things. And, I love video. And she definitely uses the medium of video to really drive her engagement and let alone build her group. So I said, let's end this amazing series because we've had so many different types of experts and expertise come on this week, and I said let's end it with a bang by having Katrina talk about Facebook groups, because I know there's a lot of people out there, whether you love them or hate them, you're at least a member of one. And hopefully by the end of this conversation, you will feel encouraged and have the confidence and have the tools in order to build your own, because there's nothing more powerful than having raving fans, having a community that supports you and your business. And to me, Facebook groups is the way to do it. LinkedIn groups are whack. We talked about that with Liz back on Tuesday. We were like, LinkedIn groups, it's all about that Facebook group life. So without further ado, let's bring on the amazing Katrina Nickhol. Katrina, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here and just being a
Okay.
part of this. And I just can't wait to show you off and your knowledge in regards to Facebook groups.
Thank you so much. And that introduction was amazing. I'm like, I did all that.
Yes,
Thank
I pay
you.
attention. I pay attention. We'll dig in deeper. But for those who have no idea who you are, even though I've kind of given some people a preview as to how I know of you more so, but please let people know who you are and what you do.
All right. So, hey, everybody. I am Katrina Nicole. I'm an accountability partner and business consultant. I am the CEO and founder of the amazing online community, Six Figure Street, and the creator of the amazing program, the Six Figure Street Startup Academy, where I help entrepreneurs take those amazing ideas, package them up, and sell them and make them profitable.
I love it. I love it. And, can you kind of just tell us what Six Figure Street is all about? Because I remember when we first talked about it, you were talking about your neighborhood and you had your own little like colloquialism when it came to all of this. So, can you talk to us about that?
So yeah, so again, it is called Six Figure Street, and so it is a group where we guide, train, and support entrepreneurs in their entrepreneur journey. So years ago, when I started my business, I've been an entrepreneur about 8 years now. I didn't have the support system that I needed. And I feel like if I had that 8 years ago, that I would have been much further along in my life and my business. It's hard out here in these streets when you're,
Right.
building a business. And so we tend to lean in our own understanding. We tend to build on what we think, we know, and how to do things. And we waste so much time, effort, opportunities, and money. And so I was like, you know what? If I was able to create a community where we're able to share these things, on a broader scale with individuals, we will save them that time and help them build much faster and much easier, right? Because it's always better with support. And so that was the whole entire goal for the community.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So before we dig in deeper about utilizing video, because you and I, we have that bond. You love using video, especially when it comes to Six Figure Street. For someone who either is a newbie, is considering starting a Facebook group, or maybe someone who's attempted before and realized all the work that it entails and is just like, forget this, they've either archived or deleted it. Why should someone consider using or building a Facebook group specifically for their business?
One thing I love about Facebook group communities is because a lot of times when you are building them, but if more importantly, if you build them properly, it is a way for like-minded individuals, people that have some of the same goals, some of the same beliefs, but more importantly, some of the same lifestyles, where you're able to congregate and fellowship and build relationships with each other. So we always hear that our network is our net worth, and I am a product of that. I believe that my network has actually been the thing that catapulted me to the next level. And so I love my network. And but more importantly, it was one of the reasons why we created the neighborhood. And so we call it the neighborhood because we are family. I believe that you're in some marriage of the 5 people you hang around the most. So our goal was to say, okay, let's create 5 more people and 5 more people and 5 more people. And when we do that, we are all in the same space, growing and glowing and celebrating each other and just moving and crushing goals. And I believe that, because we have that thing and we do it that way, it allows us to be so much more successful. So it's been a great year and a half. I think I've been doing it about a year and a half now. We'll be coming up on our 2 year anniversary around September, October mark. But in a short period of time, we have so many people that never met each other a day in their life, and they are helping each other with their business. They, have new clients, new customers, and a lot of people are now authors. They're course creators. They are entrepreneurs. They came in with just ideas, and now they have actual products. So it's been just a really dope experience.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I think your group is one of the best out there for someone who's truly serving their community and over delivering, in my honest opinion. And with that said, the next question I want to ask you is whether it's, we're going to talk a focus on Six Figure Street and you using video, but even
Mhm.
in other parts of your business, and I know you're a serial entrepreneur, you own multiple businesses. Like, why do you use video in your business, period?
I use video because people love to see. Most individuals, we are visual. We are visual creatures, right? And so people love to see what they're investing their time into. Before you even invest money, they're wanting to see what they're investing their time into. And with social media being so popular now, of course, it's totally different now than it was 20 years ago. And so with social media being so popular, you have people that have been frauds, you have people that have scamming people, and people really want to see that you are who you say you are. They want to see the expression on your face. They want to look into your eyes. They want to see that emotion. They want to connect with you. And the more that you can connect with individuals, the more you can provide value, you can build that relationship, but more importantly, you can get a sale, right? And so I always tell my clients to make sure that if you're using, I want you to use video. You need to be using video every day, especially now, right? If that's where you are. And I have to give that disclaimer. But more importantly, using video allows you to connect on a level that your words, your emails, and just your pre-recorded videos, what it can't do. So when people talk to you and see you and can chat and converse with you via your lives or just again in these intimate settings, it's a game changer for your business. And a lot of times, I believe, especially new entrepreneurs, they are fearful of that because they are scared of, other people's opinions, right? Scared of how do I sound and how do I look? I didn't get my hair done, I didn't get my makeup done. I'm like, that doesn't matter. This is social media. People want you to be social. You don't have to get your face beat and get your hair laid in order to get on social media, right? People want to see you in your truest and authentic form. And I believe that video does just that for you. And it is the thing that actually changed my life. It changed my life and it changed my business. Because one of the things I did in the neighborhood
Hmm.
was I started going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning at 6 a.m.
I remember you telling me that. Actually, I was going to ask you about that. So, yeah, can you please elaborate more on that? I was like, wait, what? How early? But go ahead.
Well, before I got to give you the background story on
Sure.
that. So the first thing is, before I even started Six Figure Street, the first thing was I didn't know where I wanted to go in my business. I was running my business, I was getting clients and customers, but I just knew it was more to it. And so I got into a place where I was depressed and I was trying to figure out like which idea, which thing to do in order to move forward. And so I started getting up every morning at 5 a.m. praying. And I did it for several months. And I'm like, God, show me what to do, show me what to do. Because it's okay to be profitable or make money in your business. But a lot of times when you're not focusing or you're not operating in purpose or doing the thing that you actually love, it can then get old, it can get daunting, right? Like, okay, been there, done that. It's not exciting anymore. And so, with me being over the age of 40, I want everything I do to have some type of purpose or meaning.
Sure.
I don't have any more time to waste, right? We're getting close to the 50 mark. My kids are graduating and things like that. So I'm like, what to do? So God gave me the idea to go ahead and start Six Figure Street. So I did it and I'm like, how can I set my group apart? How can I do something different? I don't like being like everybody else. I
Right.
don't like doing what everybody else is doing, but more importantly, you have to brand yourself. And branding yourself is not just with your logo, your website, your business cards, and your colors. It's about setting yourself apart. And so I'm like, God, how can I set myself apart? And so one of the things he told me to do was go live at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm like, you sure? You talking about the person who don't like getting up until like 10, 11 a.m. You know what I mean? Like I'll work late and but he already had started cultivating me when he told me to start doing the 5 a.m.s, right? So I started the 5 a.m.s. And then, when he told me to start going live at 6 a.m., I did it. But not only one day, he told me to do it 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'm like, whoo, you know? But, what happened was, I wasn't alone. As soon as I started doing the 6 a.m., I was getting 200 and something views, 300 and something views, 200 comments. I was connecting with people in a way that most couldn't, right? And so, if you don't know anything about Facebook groups, once you get over a certain amount of members, they give you your analytics. They show you who's the top active people or neighbors or members of your group. They show you, where they're from, the ages, their most active times. And so once we started getting that information, it was overwhelming because I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy, in a good way, but it's crazy. Like these people are getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to listen and to fellowship with each other. And because, while I was the one hosting the live, you have neighbors in the comments supporting, encouraging, celebrating each other right there in the comments. And so it was a game changer. And so I built so much from that. I was able to hear exactly what they needed, where they were, what they needed. And if you don't know anything about sales, you sell by listening, right? You sell because you're a problem solver. And with that, I was able to build so many products, so many services, and really help them where they are and where they were. And so that basically allowed the group to grow. Like it's grown a lot. So it's been really great.
Thank you for sharing the journey and of how you started, because that's greatly appreciated. And
Mhm.
just for the people who are watching, when you were going live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, can you
Mhm.
explain to us like what type of live streams they were? Were they just like live Q&As? Were they structured? Were you teaching? Can you elaborate more just a little bit on that?
Okay, so that's a great question, because a lot of times people come to me and ask me about starting a group,
Yeah.
how to start a group and things like that. And so one of the things I had to do before I even launched the group was understand who I was creating a group for. So who you create a group for allows you to focus what you do and how you structure it and how you move along just for those people. When you're trying to do it for everybody and make it so broad, you can get kind of lost in the sauce. And so I had to understand who I was creating for. And so while right now we have individuals that are from new and aspiring entrepreneurs to 7 and 8 figure earners in the group, we have some amazing neighbors in the group. But the group was not created for the 8 figure earner. The group was created for, new entrepreneurs, those who have ideas, those who want to start and start right. And so with that, I was able to gear all of my content to those individuals. Now, would everybody else, learn something and gain something and some type of value or insight? Yes, but it's really for the new entrepreneur or even those who have been in business,
Mhm.
for a short period of time and still just don't know what to do.
Sure.
So all of my content was geared towards them. So our 6 a.m. trainings was basically helping them or providing trainings based on how to start right, things to think about, how to build a website, different payment processors. And some of them really didn't have money. They had been laid off or fired from their job, and this is all they had. This was their plan A, B, and C. So we were taking them through the steps of how to set up an online store, what products to sell. And so that's how I was able to come up with that content. And because I was so specific with who I was helping and what I was helping them with, coming up with that content every day, because right now we have almost 200 videos in the group.
Right.
So coming up with the content was really easy because you can talk about those things all the time.
Love it, love it, and thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And my next question that I have for you is, can you describe to those who are not familiar, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, guys, go ahead and join her group because she walks her walk, talks her talk. Like she's not just making this up. She definitely is consistent in her group and is showing up very, very consistently. How is your group structured? So the reason why I'm asking you this is because from the conversation we had briefly, um, I was just impressed on the whole onboarding. Like, oh, you had your specific questions, and I'm going to let you elaborate from what I can remember, the units, and just can you just talk to us either about or both, rather, the onboarding process, but also just how you run your group from a structure, if you will.
Yeah, so the first thing is I had to think about, the type of people that were coming into the group. And so I always tell people when you are creating a group, you need to understand who your target audience or who it is that you are creating the group for, and how they learn, how they think, how they move, how they shape, because then at that point, you're able to tailor your group, your platform, your content surrounding those individuals, and then it just works. And so one of the things I knew about my people was that they love simple, practical steps, right? You tell them what to do, they're good, but it just needs to be a step by step by step process, right? Without all the fluff. And so when somebody joins the group, the first thing we do is we, welcome them. You want to be welcome to the family. And so all of the neighbors have to go to, we have a post that we create. We welcome them on the post. It tells them exactly what to do. I think it's about 4 things to do,
Mhm.
where it tells, we tell them to, drop their birthday in their Cash App because we want to celebrate them, right, on their day. We tell them this is where you can find the rules of the group. So they can have a clear understanding of how the group runs. So now we're a big happy family doing things in decency and order, right? Because when you have a group of thousands and thousands of people, it's easy to lose sight of the main thing, right? People start dropping their links, promoting their business, lurkers and fluff, and we don't have time for that. We're trying to grow profitable, sustainable businesses, okay? But while building relationships. So in our welcome post, we go over those things. We have an exercise for them to start with, just so they can know their numbers. We need you to know, okay, what it is that you're selling, but more importantly, you know, how much do you need to sell in order to start this whole process? And so we do that because as you're going through the trainings, now you have in the back of your mind, I have to sell at least 30 items per month to quit my job, or I have to sell 30 items per month to hit my goal. And so we just take them through those steps first, just to get like those basics out the way. So when we start dropping our daily content, we have different rituals, and I won't say rituals, but I would say routines and themes in the group,
Yep.
are income producing activity items that allows all of the entrepreneurs, even it's aspiring as well, to get familiar with what it takes to run a sustainable business. And not just, so we're not super serious in the group, right? But we make sure that the time that an individual has there, that is well worth it, that they're learning something and that they're not leaving more confused than they did when they came, right? And
Hmm.
so that's how we structure things like in that step-by-step method. Um, and again, it's about community. So that's why all the neighbors come in and they welcome them with open arms.
Right. I love it. And then as far as I'm assuming, and you chime in here, the 200 videos or just some of the training materials that you have, that's where you use the units feature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love units because I am a super organized person, especially when it comes to my business or just learning, because you can't just throw a bunch of words at me. You can't just throw a bunch of stuff at me because I'm going to be super confused. Like I need to see one, and then two, and then three, and then four, right? And so that's how I operate. So I just believe that the people that are a part of my community operates the same way. So we use the units folders to organize all of our videos and our materials. So even when a new neighbor comes in the neighborhood, they're able to go to those units and find exactly what they need. So an example would be anytime we've talked about marketing. So we have a unit folder that's titled marketing. And so they can go to that folder and they will see videos on, the top 10 ways to market your business, or the top platforms, or the top tools, resources, or just how to market your business. In that folder, we have units on website buildings. We have units of just entrepreneurs talking about, where they started from and where they are now, because sometimes we just need to know that we're not alone, that, everybody has to go through these journeys and go through these steps in order to hit, the level of success that they're deeming to achieve. And so we even have just talks and sessions in the group, of people who've overcome molestation and abuse and things like that. And that's how they started their business, or that's how they was able to come up with the idea or write that book that is changing so many lives. So the units folder has allowed us to break all those things down into to a user-friendly area to where you can find whatever it is that you need as soon as you get there. So I love it.
I love it too. And I'll be frank, like when I first joined your group and I saw it, I said, "Oh wow, this is amazing." And I didn't use units, guys, until literally last year. And Katrina and I probably met 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or a year. I can't remember.
It's
But
about a year and some months.
yeah, a year and some months. So it took me a whole year and some months to make it happen. And I did that to run a Facebook Live challenge. And it's a game changer, y'all. Like, do not sleep on that units feature. I'm serious. Like, oh man. I said, why didn't I listen to Katrina sooner? Because I immediately thought of you when I was putting it together, and I was like, so this is what she was talking about. So kudos to you for
Thank you.
putting that seed in my head, even though I didn't immediately implement, but ultimately I ended up doing it anyway.
And then you have to think about it too. With us being problem solvers, we have to think about like all the questions that we're going to get. I always try to tell people, the way you work smarter, not harder, is start planning for those things that people are going to need. And so when people come in now, 9 times out of 10, we've already covered or did a live video or training on something that they need to know. So all I have to do is say, oh, that's unit 2, lesson 3, right? Or I can go to the unit folder myself for all those that are not familiar, and I can just tag the person in the video. So it allows me to work less time, but continue to solve problems. Because again, if you don't remember or if you don't know anything else, you are a problem solver. And the more problems that you can solve in a short amount of time, the more money you can make.
Hmm.
Right? And so I continue to create vaults of information and and be able to guide people to those areas.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, another thing that I would love for us to talk about is you, and remind me if this is something you do on a consistent basis. But from what I can remember, is that you hosted your own kind of mini virtual summit, like how we're doing within your group. So I remember, we had a mutual friend like John Lawson, like you had experts come on and stuff like that. Is that
Yeah.
something you do on a consistent basis? But more so, even if you don't, talk to us about the intention behind that and why you ended up doing that for your specific group.
Great question. So that was so funny. When I did that online summit, that wasn't even the goal. It wasn't the goal to have an online summit. And the funny thing was shortly before that, I was like, you know what, I want to have an online summit. And I was going to call it something else. I can't remember the title right now. But what happened was at the end of the year, it was time for us to close out the year. And typically we have a virtual type block party in
Okay.
the group. So we have a block party, you
Oh
guys.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. You got to talk.
We
Okay,
have a
before you
whole black party.
talk about the block party first. I forgot about that. Yes.
I'm telling you, that goes down in the neighborhood. Okay. So, so we normally have a block party, but it was so much going on at the time to where I couldn't get up the resources and things. I didn't have just the time and energy to do what I wanted to do. So I was like, but you know what? I love my neighbors. So since I love them so much, I'm just gonna bring in my friends. I had neighbors that were just starting, but have some success in business, and also, some of my six-figure, seven-figure, and eight-figure earner friends. I was like, I'm gonna bring all you guys in, and I need you guys to simply drop some gems for the neighbors, allow them to end the year out right so they can start planning and beginning 2020 on top.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to several of my friends, and all of them were like, yes, 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 yes. And so for the last 2 weeks of 2019, sometimes up to three times a day, I had people coming into the neighborhood sharing their top 10 lessons from the decade. And so during that, we learned so much. It was so amazing. And so the goal was just for them to go live. I did not plan for us to have this whole entire campaign. I didn't plan for none of what you saw that happened online to happen, right? I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
it was going down like that, but it did. And then one of the things I learned from that is when business is in you, when you understand how to run, you don't know how to run any other type of way. So
Mm-hmm.
so it just went down the way that it did. But what that did do, it also told me to, when you have an idea, when something is sparked in your spirit to do it, just go ahead and do it. Don't make it perfect. Don't try to figure everything out and make it make sense. Sometimes just you taking that first step, things will start playing out in their own. And that's how that happened. And it became something amazing. Our group rate doubled almost. And so like it was really dope. A lot of those individuals gained clients, but more importantly, a lot of neighbors got clarity. They knew where to go to, get the value for where they were and what they needed. It was epic, and I formed a lot of partnerships then with individuals too, which we'll be dropping in the neighborhood soon. But some of these individuals are going to be street team leaders, meaning
Okay.
my neighbors won't have to hear only from me. They'll be
Right.
able to hear from other people too, right? I'm not the only one with the knowledge. I
Right.
was just the one with the vision. So, but yeah, it was amazing. And it's something that we are now going to be implementing, going forward in the group, along with our virtual block party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love the virtual block party. And it's
Talk,
our
talk,
time
talk to
to.
people about that. What you mean by that, just in case people who don't know what you're talking about.
So of course, since we have Six Figure Street and we have an amazing neighborhood and we have amazing neighbors, we have to celebrate, right? We have to, come together offline. And so, anytime you have a business online, as far as, and when I say online, I mean if you are conducting and communicating with your clients or your customers on your social media platforms, you have to remember they are not yours. Facebook is not yours, Instagram is not yours, Twitter is not yours. So you're communicating with people there, but your goal is to always want to find a way to get them away from that and to get them off of that. Okay. And so one of the things that we did, to see and put faces with names, not just behind profile pictures, but also celebrate our accomplishments and where we have grown to, we decided to have what we call a virtual block party. And so all it is us coming together on a Zoom, seeing each other faces. We have giveaways. So like last time we gave away over 50 gifts. When it came to, we had Visa gift cards, we had massage gift cards, spa days. We gave away gear. We gave away, credit repairs, courses. We gave away so many things. Nobody had to pay for nothing because the virtual block party is absolutely free. And Starbucks, Target, Dunkin' Donuts. It was crazy. It was so much fun.
I
So
love
much fun.
it.
And so all we do is sit there. We turn on the music, we swag surf, and we pull names out the hat because you get to enroll or subscribe or register for whatever gift that you want.
Oh,
So we have a way to where it's like 30, or if we have 30 to 50 gifts and or prizes and giveaways, you get to put your name in that hat. And so on the virtual block party, we pull your name at the hat and you win live on the screen. And so also, we celebrate those neighbors that have hit certain goals. So a lot of times our neighbors are dropping receipts. Like, from that live video, I just made, my first 3 figures. And from that video, I made my first 6 figures. We had neighbors that hit 6 figures within 9 months from our group. And so from that, that's when we have the opportunity to say, okay, you guys, now we have to celebrate, him, her, and all of that. And just celebrate ourselves as a neighborhood in itself, for being there, because this is an online community. You
mhm,
don't have to be there,
right.
you know? And so they do. And, I appreciate it. I love it. I love spending my time there. I love giving and serving, and that's just who I am as a person outside of, running anything else. And so, yeah, that's
I
the virtual
love
part.
it. Oh my, I'm like I said, I'm just remembering now how excited I got when I first talked to you about Facebook groups.
Mhm.
It totally like changed my mind. So I'm so glad I have you on here because I'm like, yo, above anybody else, if y'all are not taking notes or, whatever, I'm doing it for me because I'm like, I want to take it to the next level for real. And so with that said, I kind of
Mhm.
want to diverge slightly.
Okay.
So, a part of Katrina's onboarding process, if you will, with her group is she asks for your email address. And
Mhm.
a lot of times, a lot of groups they'll ask you for their email address. I'm one of those people and I'm guilty of it.
That's
But
right.
Katrina actually talks to you via email. It's not just the one email to say, "Oh, look at all these resources, blah 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 blah." Like she is consistent with it, and that's how, for one, I learned about the mini virtual summit that, and that you did not plan to happen. And
Mhm.
then I also want to talk about like the most recent ones that you've been sending out, especially with the whole what's going on in the world with the pandemic. You
Yeah.
are to send out consistent emails about what's going on, checking in, what are
Yeah.
you struggling with. And then I'm assuming that based on
Mhm.
whatever responses or engagement you're getting from that, you're going live with, because I'm also seeing that you've gone live recently talking about, let's talk about what's going on,
Yeah.
still, saying, positioning yourself and letting your neighbors know that, hey, I'm here for you. Let's talk about what you're struggling with so we can get you to continue and not be stagnant based on what's going on.
Exactly.
So, with that said, let's talk about, your whole communication strategy outside of what's going on inside the group or what's going on outside of the group, how you communicate with your neighbors, especially using the medium of emails.
Yes, and so that is one of the first things they encounter when joining the group. So even if someone is invited into the group or they are hitting the join button, we have 3 questions that pop up, and basically it is getting their interest in the group. But more importantly, we're asking for their email address. And so for all those who may not be using your email as a way to connect with your clients, you're missing out on an amazing opportunity to get them away from social media. And like I stated before, Facebook is not, that Facebook community is my group in a way, but at the same time, Facebook can shut me down right now and I won't have access to it, right? And so my goal is always to be able to communicate with my clients outside of those platforms. If I wanted to take a break and say, hey, I'm taking a 30-day break off social media, I can still talk to them via email and other methods too. And so that's why I do that. But more importantly, if you really think about it, the algorithm, um, it's even affecting groups right now. I'm not sure a lot of if anybody knows that. See, before you can post something and everybody sees it how you want it to within your group, which was a little different from your platform. But now in your group, the algorithm still picks up the same in regards to links, keywords, words that are red flags in the system and things like that. So at the same time, it doesn't matter even if you tag somebody, they still may not see it until later on. And this is, sometimes people don't understand that. And so with that, I'm like, how can I communicate with my people outside of this and beat this algorithm? And you do that via your email. Okay. And so my open rate via my email, especially for the neighbors, is really, really high. I mean, I can send out an email right now, and as soon as I hit the refresh button and go to see who opened it, I have hundreds of opens within the first 30 seconds. And so that's amazing to me. But I'm sharing that with you guys because if you, again, know who it is you're talking to and who you're building your community for, then they want to hear and see, oh, I would say hear from you. They want to hear from you. So the more that you speak to them, but more importantly, speaking their language where they are, then you won't have that issue from them unsubscribing from your list. They're going to open your emails within the first 30 seconds as well. So I do that just to, to beat all of those, the protocol and all that.
Yeah.
But to connect, and it just does so much in this staying connected. It gives you options.
Most definitely, most definitely. In fact, I can even see it as something, what's common now is starting to build text lists. So,
Oh yeah.
being able to text people without being responsible as, not spamming people and texting them every 5 seconds. But, there's so many different ways. And I love that you said that because you're right. At any time, Facebook, YouTube, any social media platform can shut you down, or some, I don't know, nefarious person could submit you to
Reports
have you
in.
reported, and then you're shut down and you're like, yo, what happened, and then there's a whole process to appeal it or whatever. So making sure you have control of the people that you're serving, and that's probably not the right way I want to say it, but I don't want you controlling people, but just control the communication, if you
Yeah,
will.
but having this another stream of communication.
Yes, yeah.
So I forgot to answer your other question in regards to like what does it look like in that
Sure.
relationship phase in serving them. And so again, with this whole Corona thing that's going on, one of the things that I had to do, I had to think about my people. And so we are a neighborhood full of neighbors, right? And so meaning these people are whole people. And so they're not just building their businesses, but they're mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, right? Now, a lot of individuals that were working 9 to 5 may not have a 9 to 5, or now they are learning how to work from home. They're learning how to homeschool their kids. There are just so many different things, whether it's just trying to balance, having to be in the house right now, this um, the mental bondage that some people are feeling right now. And so I had to think about my people as a whole. And so that's why I started emailing them and communicating with them that way in regards to tell me what it is that I can help you with right now, what it is that you need. And so I've, to this day, from the first time I sent that email, I'm still conversing back and forth with people via email based on what they need. And so in that, what I was able to do was come up with what we call our Rona resources. And so what we did was I built a website,
Okay.
and the website, or just a one pager,
Hmm.
and basically it just houses all the resources, that the legit resources and articles that I've been able to find, over the past couple of weeks. And so, everybody doesn't have access to the same network, the same news channels, the same feeds, and things like that. So if I was able to put everything in a central location, I'm able to help the neighbors, find what they need, quickly and more easily based on having that Rolodex. So as soon as they go there, they can click on whatever resources they need, whether it's financial resources or business resources. They can click on it, and it takes them to those direct links for that. So, and that's just the type of person I am. I really love my neighborhood. I love helping my people, and I know if they're happy and they're whole, then what they're doing is then changing the infrastructure of everybody around them, meaning the lives of their children and then the people that they can support. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's not all about just making our businesses successful, but the more people that we can help, we have no choice but to be, well off.
Thank you for sharing that. And you are so right. And it definitely shows, you exude it when you are present. So, and I think that's why um, I would say your group is so engaged and people love you because they know you're truly in it for them and it's not just something, because, some people are doing Facebook groups just to get business, if you will, and it kind of
Yeah.
comes off that way versus like you're being genuine, authentic, and you're showing up consistently, which is really, really key, especially with any sort of community that you're trying to build, whether it's a Facebook group or not. So, we talked a lot about video.
Mm-hmm.
And based on your experience, so it's been a little over a year, well, almost 2 years now running this group. And then also, you have your other businesses. So, for someone who's a complete newbie, they're loving what you're sharing, what we're talking about here. What would be the first three steps that you would give to a newbie about getting started with video and using it for their business?
So that's a great question too. You got some good questions, Monique.
And take your
um,
time if you need to, think. No
Yeah,
problem.
so the first three things I probably would say is piggybacking off of some of the things that I stated before was just narrowing down who it is that you are creating these videos for. Really think about that. Who are these people? Because they are a certain type of person, right? They're what we call our target audience, or their ideal client, or we're building avatars to serve these people. What does it look like? And once we have an understanding of who we're creating the videos for, then the best thing for you to do after that is now how are you going to communicate to them, like when. And so I always tell my neighbors that exactly when power is going to come on, exactly when empire is going to come on. So do these people know when you're going to come on, right? So they was like, I need money for marketing and branding. No, what time are you going to come on?
Right.
That's what we need right now. We need to know what time you're coming on. And so when people can get used to you, to seeing you, and like what you're saying, consistency, and they're used to seeing you, and you're talking their language, because remember, you know who it is that you're talking to. Then your goal then after that is to pay attention to the content. How can you serve them and provide value in the best possible way based on what they need, not what you want to give them, but what they need,
Hmm.
right? And so when you're able to do that, you at that point are able to do so much, because now you're getting the answers to the questions you've been asking yourself of how to serve, because they're going to tell you,
Hmm.
right? You're going to continue to build something so amazing because you're consistent and they know where to find you. They know you're going to show up versus everybody else who was showing up whenever. They know when you're going to show up. But more importantly, you're talking to a specific group of people. And the more you are doing that and connecting with them on a greater level, it has no choice but to bloom. And it's going to bloom into something amazing. And so you don't have to have it all figured out. Again, you don't have to, always look your best and, wait to have on the right outfit and for the lighting to be right. Sometimes people need to just see you and they want you to show up and be your best self and your most authentic self. And to me, when you start with those three things, everything else can, it'll fall in line, it'll come into play.
I love it, and thank you for answering that. And based on you sharing your journey, how when you first started, you were going live at 5, then 6 o'clock, and then you do your trainings and things like that. Can you talk to us about the sort of equipment you use to run your Facebook group,
Hmm.
specifically for video?
Okay. I just have the simple Logitech.
Mm-hmm.
HD 1080.
Okay.
And so I think I paid about 50 something, $60 for it.
Right.
I have that, and I have a, what is this? An Audio Technica
Yep. Audio
microphone.
Technica. Yep. I
Yep.
have one right now too.
Yeah, and my like you said, Danticia, she surprised me with it one day because I was like, I'm gonna just start going live, and she heard, the echo because my ceilings are like really high,
Yeah.
so my echo is always horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, business bestie,
I can hear her.
no, we don't do that. And so now the thing about it was she didn't tell me she was doing it. One day I got a package, and now my husband looking like, you got more packages? Like, why Amazon's coming here? And I'm like, I didn't order nothing. And so now I'm curious, like, what's going on in this package? And she had a note, and she was like, congratulations on, taking that step. It was so dope. And so this is the same microphone
Mhm.
that she surprised me with. And if I'm not mistaken, it's probably less than $100 too.
Yeah,
So the
it's
equipment I
like
use,
60 or $70. I'm the one that put her onto that.
see,
The mastermind that she and I met at, we had it delivered to the place we were staying at, and yeah, so I love that. And shout out to you, Danticia. That was amazing that you did that for your friend. Go ahead, girl. Like seriously, yes.
so like my first three videos were without it, and then the fourth video, out of hundreds I have now, um, yep, I have the same microphone. So that's all I use. I use those two things. I have an office, and it has beautiful windows and things in it, but I never go live from my office. And the reason why is because it seems like Facebook doesn't like me going live in there. For whatever reason, I always have some type of technical difficulty.
Hmm.
So all I do is I find a specific spot in my dining room. I sit at the table, which I am doing right now, and I go live. And I always say that for people because they always feel like they have to have like hundreds of dollars worth of equipment, the best background, pictures on the wall, and all of that. No, I'm sorry. I made most of my money from sitting on a blank white wall.
And that's the reason why I asked you this question. I was intentional with it because since I've been following your journey at least for a little over a year, yes, I like how you keep it simple. And like what I like to tell my students and clients is that you need to earn the professional equipment. The mere fact that
Okay.
you're not doing video in the first place, you don't deserve using the fancy setup like a camera lens thing that I have right here
Mhm.
because you're not consistent with it, and it's like why? And
Love
what
that.
Katrina just shared with you guys is using primarily your computer. And I love that because I know she's been using her computer primarily and stuff. So that's a very simple setup. If you guys want to upgrade just slightly, get a HD or they have a 4K even Logitech
Hmm.
webcam and get a microphone because audio is everything. Like we covered earlier today with Brent Larry, he was like, you gotta have your audio on point, otherwise people are not gonna watch you. But also, like for me, guys, even if you don't have that, this you carry this everywhere you go. This is a media company right here. All you need, I mean, you guys are paying $1,000, if not more or less, for the most recent phone. So why not use it to its fullest capability? That's all you need to use. So either it's your phone or what Katrina shared with us as far as using your laptop, desktop, and a webcam if you want to upgrade the quality of the picture, and of course having some sort of audio source to make it better. But that's all you need. And I love that, Katrina, you said that, once you did that after the fourth video, that's all you've been using. And guys, if you're just joining us, she's done over 200 trainings in her group, and that's all she's using with a plain background in the background. That's
And let
it.
me share this with you, Monique. I had that mindset, like everything had to be, top notch. My very first course,
Mhm.
um, I had, a whole video team, with the teleprompters. We rented out a suite to do the recording. I mean, we had scripts. It was like the whole thing. I never put out the course.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
But now, of course, that I do have, which is my academy, I use exactly what I told you I have. And, I typically don't drop, how much I make like that, you know. But I have done more with that academy than I've done in, having a full-time job. Now I don't work full-time anymore, but just in my academy alone, I have made more in my academy than I have ever done working for somebody else,
Congratulations. Yeah,
you
that's
know.
awesome.
So, um, so you don't need all of those things. Like I said, I spent money on all of that and never put it out, never used it.
I love it. I love it. And it's so funny, like, we're all guilty of it, girl, because even me, and then, I'm in the video space, so I feel like I gotta have everything on point. But
Hmm.
what I realized is that some of my live streams were like, I had not one lick of makeup on or anything. I'm just using my phone and the headphones that had a little microphone with them, those yellow type of I'm yellow, the white Apple pods, um, are some of my most engaging and most beloved type of videos that I've put out there. And I think it's because it makes you the most relatable, right? It doesn't make it seem like it's something where, oh man, I gotta, if I'm always putting out the fancy stuff, it's like, oh, I gotta do that. Like it kind of puts someone not wanting to do it. And especially since in my space, there's so many different objections I'm getting, and then you kind of address that already as far as how you look, not having the time, which right now, guys, you don't have that as an excuse. People
Exactly.
not showing up, that is no longer excuse. Online traffic is at the ultimate high. The eyeballs that you guys are complaining about, oh, when I go live, I only get one person. That one person didn't have to interrupt their lives to watch you. So, for one, that's a vanity metric and you being selfish. And also, the idea of having the techie stuff or having to do it yourself, well, unless you're living by yourself, you're excused. But otherwise, if you have a family member or roommate or you're living with someone, they can help you create the content and you have the time to do it because we're all home. Guys, you won't get this attention ever again, literally. You, even if
Ever.
another major
Well,
catastrophe comes, you will
listen,
not get this.
not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime, at least. Because, as you said, Katrina, like, it was like water being thrown onto our face when we were getting hit by the news and how quickly this virus has spread. And so, as
Yeah.
a result, everybody is home right now and everybody's waiting for you to step up. So, why aren't you stepping up? Is my thing. Because all the excuses you had before, you don't have them anymore.
You don't.
Seriously, you don't. You
You
don't.
don't. I said, like, I started without, a camera and a microphone. Then I have a camera and a microphone. And so I love what you said, Monique, when you said that, you haven't earned it. And so now, as I'm continuing to grow my business and my brand, yes, I'm ordering Yetis and what is that, Blue Yeti, and I'm upgrading my camera to the 14K or, other things. I've think ordered the Gizmo or Gizball, the thing that allows you to move and
Gimbal. Gimbal.
gimbal, yeah,
Yes.
gimbal. So I'm
Yeah.
ordering all those things, but like now it's because it makes more sense to do it
Hmm.
based on where I am in my business now. And so as I continue to grow, same thing I tell my clients, you want to continue to grow, expand, test and try, be innovative in what it is that you're doing. But it's not the excuse not to do anything, right? It's not the excuse not to start.
Right.
And I remember, I don't remember who said it, but they were saying if your first version of anything that you're doing is your best, you started too late.
Right.
And I
Yep.
was like, oh, well, I know I didn't start too late because I can't stand to look at anything I did in the past. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to watch the replay. I don't want to see it. So so I'm like, yeah, thank goodness I didn't start because but that, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I would have waited until everything was just right in order to launch. But I'm glad like my business besties and my friends and my family won't allow me to do that. So
I love that. Yeah, I love that you have a support team outside of the neighborhood, of course, and of course the neighbors are there for you as well. It's a two-way
mhm,
street. That's what I love about your group. It's a two-way street. It's not just you preaching to them or vice versa, them spamming your group or anything like that. It's like equally balanced. And Yeah, you upgrading right now to a gimbal and all that, girl, you put the work in. You put in the hours, like they say, outlier, 10,000 hours to be, or plus whatever, to be a professional. Like you put that in. You have over 200 trainings, if not more videos than that, I'm assuming. It's, we're
Right.
talking about the Facebook group, but like
Mhm.
you put the work in. So yeah, you earned it. Unlike
Yeah.
some other folks, y'all need to earn it.
Like, go sit down. Go sit down
Right.
somewhere.
Go sit down somewhere, and while you're sitting down, go record a video. How about that? Or go live. Whichever of
Yeah.
the two.
All of it.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. So, one last question for you based
Mhm.
on your personal experience. Let's talk about those who are not newbies with the Facebook group game. They've possibly started one, they've gotten in a rut, it's been stagnant. What is your advice to those to reinvigorate the group? Or maybe they have to start a new one, but either way, just to get the ball rolling again. What are suggestions that you have?
I only have one suggestion right now, and that would be to survey your group. That's it. Survey, because what I do, I'm a consultant, and 9 times out of 10, the people that I consult when they're having issues like that,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're not receiving, they're hearing a lot of crickets, lack of engagement, things like that, is because they really don't know who they are talking to. They don't know who they're serving. And when I say know them, they know surface, but they don't know who they are at the core.
Okay.
And so your goal is to make sure that you know these people. I call it 5 to 7 levels deep, right? So you have several levels of who your customer, your client is. So you have the surface, what they show on Facebook, Instagram, when people say, oh, I'm good, but on the inside they're hurting, a lot of times if you're marketing to just that part of them, then you're going to have crickets, lack of engagement, lack of sales, because you are talking to the surface of them. Even if you're talking to sometimes the surface and down to level two, eh, you know, you're not going to get the results that you are, desiring to achieve. And so the goal is always to serve them at those other levels. And a lot of times you can find out what those levels are is by simply surveying them. So I always tell them to go to the type form, create a type form, or create a survey monkey,
Yeah.
and ask your people, what they need, what they're dealing with, what they need, what could they use most at this time, and make it anonymous. And the results are going to blow you away,
Okay.
because a lot of times when they know that it's anonymous, they're going to tell you the truth.
Right.
And I shared on my live video, I think 2 videos I did ago, that was the thing that changed my business, surveying my people. I did one survey and I sent it out to 3 different groups.
Okay.
The first group was people that I knew, like I know for a fact, like this, my business besties, or these are my, my family, my friends. I know these people. And then the next group was people I knew, but not like on the same level. And then the third group of people was people I barely knew, right? I knew them maybe by name. Like, say, for instance, me and you have had conversations. We've been in the same room together, but at the end of the day, I don't know you like that. So if I send you a survey, you would have been in that. You would have fell in that third category.
Mm-hmm.
So the first group of 10, I sent it to. I knew them, and so I sent it to them first before I sent it to the other two.
Okay.
When those results came back, I could not match up those results with the people.
Okay.
I could not. And I just knew I was going to be able to tell who did what, who wrote what, and who selected what, and I could not. And that was the only thing I needed to know of why I was failing in my business at the time. Yeah. And so when I couldn't match those answers up with those people that I knew for a fact I knew that's why I was failing and why I wasn't hitting my goals and hitting my targets, because I was talking to people, I wasn't talking to people where they were. I wasn't providing solutions to the problems that they actually had. I was talking to them on the surface. And so after that, I started surveying everything. So I remember I did a survey in my group in the neighborhood. I put a survey up, and I just figured, like, just a couple of people was going to do it. We had hundreds of responses. But more importantly, I was like, you know what? Y'all complete the survey. Whoever name is, whenever you complete the survey, put done in the comments, and I'll put your name in the drawing, and I'll give away $50.
Okay.
Right? And so it was people's like done, 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 done. And so it was so dope because I was able to get the answers to everything I always wondered. And so when you're serving people where they are, in regards to even just how you create your themes, how you create your content, or even just the stories you share, you're sharing them with them in a way that they connect. And
Mhm.
so once a person can connect with you, your engagement on your groups and even your regular personal profiles, they're always going to skyrocket because you know who you're talking to,
Mhm.
period. And so I would say survey your people.
Thank you so much for sharing that. In fact, it's so funny because I'm going through that process right now myself, in regards to my community. And yeah, you just gave me the validation right there. I, however, I like how you structured it by saying, you did it first by the people who know, and you assumed that you would be able to determine. And then those who are watching this, like, what helps people love to be incentivized. So because I have tried to poll people before, but I've never given a incentivization. I
Mm-hmm.
love the idea of how you said, you did a drawing for $50, that sort of thing, so that you get them to take action. And I
Yeah.
think that's very, very key, for sure, for sure. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, an hour has passed by already. Oh my goodness, the time went by just like that. And woo, you just dropping gems, bombs, and everything. And everything that I assumed you were going to do, you did, and you just took it to a next level. So I want to thank you. And,
Yeah.
you, you know, please let us know if anyone wants to either talk to you more about Facebook groups, because I know you mentioned you do consulting, and also if you guys are just joining, she does have her own Facebook group. Where can people find you online and also contact you?
So people can find me online and at everything at Katrina Nickhol. And so, that's Nickhol.
Hmm.
Okay. And so my daddy, he was extra with my name. I couldn't get the regular Nicole because he knew I wasn't going to be a regular person. Okay.
Love
I'm
it.
extraordinary. All right. But no, everything at Katrina Nicole. If you're interested in joining the neighborhood, it is absolutely free. You can find us at sixfigurestreet.com. So basically, what the shirt says is
Yeah.
says it
Hmm.
street, and just answer those three questions, and we will welcome you to the neighborhood.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Katrina, for being here. Seriously. Oh my goodness. And just any parting words based on what we covered, just, I don't know, just throw something that gets people to really think about creating a group and also using video, or whether it's just using video. Do you have any last words before we sign off?
If I had to leave you with anything, it would be just to start. You know, when I started the group, I didn't know it was going to be what it is today. All I had was an idea. I knew who I was talking to and what I was going to talk to them about, but that was it. I didn't have all of my themes. I didn't have all of my colors. I didn't have none of that, created when I started, but I started. And now I'm here today, a year and a half later, talking to you about it, right? So just go ahead and take that first step. You never know what that first step is going to do for you. It's going to not only do for you, but the people that you are meant to touch and change their life. I have neighbors right now that says because I operated my purpose, now they're operating in theirs. And so, whose purpose, are who are you holding back from operating their purpose because you're not operating in yours? So I would say go ahead and take that first step. It definitely is going to be worth it. You got it.
I love it. Go ahead. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, that wraps it up. The third edition of the Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success series. I'm so glad we had Katrina to end this amazing time, the past 5 days, including today, of us coming together, talking about all of these, what I call business veterans who've been in business for over 2 years, who are literally utilizing video as a part of their lifestyle, more specifically for business growth and driving it. And so I know, and I will say, it was selfish reasons. I wanted to really get what Katrina and I talked about out again so I can get excited again and start using video. So I definitely appreciate you for taking out the time. And for those of you guys that are here, these sessions will only be up for a short amount of time. So be sure to register. There is a link up above or down below where you'll get access to the replays and all that other stuff. Other than that, guys, I just want you guys, like Katrina said, execute, get started, whichever platform, whichever expert that you saw this week, just take that one video and execute on everything they said. You don't have to do every single thing that we tackled this week. Otherwise, yes, analysis paralysis, you're not going to get started. But let's just say for Katrina, if you guys are here and you want to start your own Facebook group and then use video to help drive it, then just re-listen to this, take notes, and most importantly, execute, because especially if you're watching this, you'll never get this hour back in your life, so you might as well make the most out of it. So thank you so much, guys,
And thank you
and
for having me.
yeah, most definitely, thank you, and we'll see you soon.